So hi guys, how did you do your FMG exam today? I heard that there were a lot of video based questions and definitely the questions that were there in pathology also was it was little tricky questions and there was no blurring of line between NEET PG and FMG now. So I think let's quickly see and recall what all questions were coming. So this will be rapid fire, okay? So this was the question which I gave in the PDF yesterday. If you have seen that PDF, you know this question. So this was a testicular mass, typically septa infiltrated by lymphocytes and these clear cells. You know this is seminoma. Alpha fetoprotein and HCG levels are normal. That's a clue. That's a very typical seminoma. Coming to the next question here. So typical again. I had posted this 2 days back also and given you this in rapid revision also. So typical CD4 count is less than 50 and the patient is having this and live high power. Can you see this? These are the small spores. Do you remember that? Small 2 to 5 micron spores which are I've told you this so many times. If you see the small spores surrounded by a halo like this, so it is histoplasma capsulatum and these are small budding spores and you have to differentiate it from leishmaniadomani which I gave the image also, which is dot and dash appearance. So remember, when the CD4 count is low, then so the question was not what is it, the question was how is it spread. So histoplasma is inhaled from the microconadia in the soil which has bat and bird droppings. When you inhale it and your immunity is low from the lung, it goes to various organs like skin, liver, or bone marrow. So that's very, very typical of histoplasma. You know that, okay? So remember, daily product causes brucellosis. Anyhow, skin abrasions, inoculation can cause tuberculosis or sporothrix. Okay, so all that was out here. Look at this, the students gave me two images here. Some of them said it was black and white image, some of them said color image. But owl eye is one question which is always asked in the exam. This is CMV. And the second image that can be asked in the exam next time is HS. We have told you this so many times. Remember the three M's, that is multinuclearity, molding and margination, that is herpes simplex. So these are two classical images that is asked in exam all the time. So here it was classical owl eye, it is CMV. Okay, let's go to the next question. So typical history, patient is having photosensitivity and anti double stranded DNA antibodies, and ANA is positive, complement levels are low. What is this? This is SLE. You know, SLE is an immune complex mediated disease which causes immune complex to be deposited in the kidney and it consumes the complement, so complement levels also fall down. So that was a classical history. They ask you which type of, what is the mechanism, basically which type of hypersensitivity it is. So that's an indirect way of asking. This is type 3 hypersensitivity. There is immune complexes which are deposited and causes decreased complements. It was simple. Okay, anti-GBM antibodies are seen in anti-GBM disease which causes type 1 RPGM, and ANCA mediated is type 3 RPGM. T cell mediated can occur in any conditions, many conditions. Okay, so that was classical SLE, which is type 3 hypersensitivity reaction due to immune complexes. Let's come to the next. This is one of my favorite question and I keep telling students all the time again and again. This was the classical history. They gave you history of insulinoma and they asked you which tumor should you look for. So that's so typical. I've told you story of men, if you've not forgotten. Men one is when you don't go to the medical college, you are still chota bacha, pyara bacha. So you are most pyara, 90% pyara bacha. So you have parathyroid hyperplasia. Now the name of this bacha is Panpith. So he has a pancreatic lesion, that is insulinoma, and you have to look for pituitary adenoma in them. Okay, so you have to search for pith. Pan is there, pith has to be searched. So that's men one. So it is pituitary adenoma that you have to search. Remember, when you go to the medical school, you are meant to. So when you enter into medical school, you are meant to A. When you finish the medical school, it is meant to B. So meant to A is you go to the medical school. So that is why they are associated with medullary carcinoma. Meant to B, when you pass the medical school, you are 100% doctor. So medullary carcinoma is seen in 100%. Now, when you enter into the medical school, the protocol is you will get your girlfriend. So what is the name of your girlfriend? Pheo. So she has pheochromocytoma. So pheochromocytomas are present in both the men too. What is the difference between 2A and 2B? So when you enter into the medical school, you are 2A. You are still pyara bacha. So you still pyara 50%. Okay. But when you leave the medical school, you are no more pyara bacha. You are tall and long. So you have marfanoid habitus. Okay. So that is it. So if they ask you men two, then you have to look for medullary carcinoma. When it is men one, you have to look and you already have insulinoma, you will have to look for pituitary adenoma. So the answer this in this case is pituitary adenoma. You know, medullary carcinoma and FEO are men too. Papillary has no role here. Okay, so that is very typical men syndrome question. That is how it is asked. Okay, now look at this question here. So this is again a very classical question here. So the patient having difficulty in climbing stairs, and the typical history is muscle strength improves briefly after repeated activity. This is Lambert-Eaton myasthenic syndrome, and they also gave that patient has a lung mass which is in hilum, that is central mass. So whenever they give you central mass, there are two S which can occur in the center: squamous cell carcinoma or small cell carcinoma. So squamous cell carcinoma usually presents with hypercalcemia. Small cell carcinoma can present with any paraneoplastic manifestation. So Lambert-Eaton myasthenic syndrome is very commonly seen with small cell carcinoma, and your answer here becomes small cell carcinoma. Let's go to the next one. So this is the person where they gave you the question that pulses are reduced. So pulseless disease is Takayasu, you know that. So there are two large vessel disease, Takayasu and temporal. Temporal occurs in elderly with headache. Younger age group, pulseless disease is Takayasu. Why not PAN? PAN is medium vessel vasculitis and it will present with renal manifestations. Okay, and but still it will not have glomerulonephritis. And what about granulomatosis and polyangiitis? It's a small vessel vasculitis. It will not have large pulseless disease, and they are usually associated with ANCA. So this is another question which is asked all the time, and you should be clear. Okay, so this I have told you so many times. The typical history of colon cancer, and I've told you this so many times that whenever you have a colon cancer, the first mutation is loss of APC, and then there is KRAS activation. And I told you this so many times that KRAS is typically activated in pancreatic or biliary colonic area. So when you have pancreatic cancer, when you have cholangiocarcinoma, when you have colon cancer, KRAS is point mutated. So the answer is KRAS. Why not BRCA? BRCA is breast and ovarian. Why not RET? It is medullary. Why not RB1? It is retinoblastoma. So exclusion was easier in the exam this time. Okay, so this is one question repeated pre-YQ again and again. I've given you in rapid revision so many times. Typically, PAS positive small round cell tumor. Why PAS positive? Because it has a lot of glycogen. Plus onion skinning. That is a periosteal reaction in onion skinning. This can be nothing else except Ewing sarcoma. And what is the typical mutation of Ewing sarcoma? This I've told you so many times. It's 1122 translocation. That is so classical, which has EWSR1 FLI1 mutation in 85% of the cases. That's 1122. And you know 922 is in CML, 814 Burkitt, and 1517 APML. So by exclusion also you can come to the answer. Okay, this question was very interesting. So this is a adult, also thoda bada bacha, 12-year-old person presenting with jaundice, which is very typical that it manifests more when the patient has fasting or intercurrent illness. Very typical history of Gilbert syndrome. So there are two important causes of unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia: Crigler-Najjar and Gilbert. Crigler-Najjar usually presents early in life, and they have more, severe hyperbilirubinemia, unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Gilbert syndrome presents little later in the life, and the typical history that the jaundice precipitates with fasting or illness. That's very typical. And conjugated, you already know, I've told you this so many times. Doctors are conjugated. Doctors are always conjugated. So DR, Dubin Johnson and Rotar, they're conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. The question typically asked you about unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia, which manifests more with fasting. Answer has to be Gilbert syndrome. Okay, coming to this is so classical. If you remember the story, I've told you this. Africa, there was a person called Dennis Burkitt who went to Africa, found that all the children there were having jaw masses. He was the one who found that there is Epstein-Barr virus in all of them, which enters through the tonsils and causes the jaw masses. So that's typical Epstein-Barr virus, and the typical image was your starry sky appearance. This is Burkitt lymphoma. Why not HHV8? That will cause Kaposi sarcoma, which will have spindle-shaped cells. Why not CMV? Aulai, abhi to dekha. And HTLV1. HTLV1 has tax gene and it produces flower cells, adult T cell lymphoma. Nothing fits into this. This is very classical of Burkitt's Epstein-Barr virus. Look at this. This is a repeat question. Again, previous year question. Bladder cancer is associated with benzidine. I've told you this so many times. Benzene is associated with AML. Benzidine is associated with bladder cancer. Khatam. Okay, look at this. A person typically is working in shipyard family. Again, repeated asked question. Shipyard factory is typical asbestos, and along with that, there is a risk of bronchogenic carcinoma and mesothelioma. Nothing else. It is asbestosis. Remember, asbestosis usually involved lower part of the lung has pleural plaques. Silica, they'll give you sand blasting. This is also a previous year question. Okay, upper lobes are more involved. Cotton dust, they'll typically give you byssinosis, which has Monday morning fever. Not there. Coal dust, typically black color macrophages and centri SNR emphysema. So this is one of the classical pneumoconiosis question which is asked all the time, and you should be clear. Okay, and this was the last question, and I hope that's the recall, right? Bye guys. Hope you did well.